Okay, so yeah, once again, welcome everybody. The follow-up group coaching after the Achieve program, or just keep them in your mind, and I'll make sure that we have some time to answer any questions at the end of the program. Yeah, we'll share about how to keep momentum going in 2023, since we finished the Achieve program, but I think we're all here because we want to keep that progress, keep that momentum that we built during the program. We want to keep that going into the future, into this new year and beyond. So how do we do that? And then after that, we'll talk about the program, what the program will look like. We'll go through how to register, and there'll be time for you to register and also ask any questions. So we'll put the registration links out, the registration form, so that you can actually do that right here, right now, during this time. And if you have any questions along the way, we'll be here to support you. One thing that I feel is a principle that for me is incredibly important to keep the momentum going in the year 2023 and beyond is the power of proximity. So what does that mean? So basically, there is a quote, maybe you've heard of it, that we become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Basically, that means if you look at the people that you spend the most time with, those people are going to naturally influence you, right? You're going to have certain kinds of conversations with those people. You're going to have certain interactions. And depending on the kind of people that you spend the most time with, that's going to influence your way of thinking, your way of feeling, and your way of experiencing life, and how you develop in your life, right? So sometimes in life, we feel like we're not moving as fast as we want to be, or we might feel stuck and it might just be in like a certain area of life. Like maybe you're doing very well in your spiritual life, your relationship with God, you feel that's really solid, but you feel like you're feeling kind of stuck in your finances. So one of the things to look at is in those areas that we feel stuck sometimes, we feel like we're not moving as fast as we want to be, is are we spending time with people who are maybe a little bit ahead of us in that area of life? I think a lot of times, a lot of the kind of traps of poverty and wealth, like why do people tend to stay in poverty or in difficult situations like that, while the rich people tend to get richer? A lot of it is because of poor people who are in poverty tend to spend a lot of time with people who are in poverty, and you get stuck in the conversations about how difficult life is and how difficult it is to make money and this and that, while as people who are more financially healthy, they tend to spend a lot more time with people who like to talk about ideas for generating wealth and things like that, and really immersing themselves in this kind of culture and ideas. So it's really important to take a look at this question of who is in your circle, who is in my circle, like who are the 5 people that I do spend the most time with, and are they influencing me and encouraging me and pushing me to go to a higher level in my life of faith, in my relationships, in my finances, in the impact that I want to make, the contributions that I want to make? Am I surrounding myself with people who are working and moving in the same direction? And especially, do I have somebody who I feel is a little bit ahead of me in my life, a little bit ahead in the journey of life? And one thing I'm really grateful for over the years is having mentors that are just a few steps ahead, or a few years, 10 years ahead of me, that I could kind of inherit from and learn from their strengths. And one of those people for me is our president, our trainer, Naokimi Shiroda. I first started working with Naokimi back when he was the CART president. I think this was like 7 years ago. And yeah, while there are a lot of things that we have in common, there's also a lot of things that are very different between the two of us. And a lot of his strengths I felt a lot of his strengths were a lot of my weaknesses. Like I wasn't really all that good at, setting clear goals and strategizing and coming up with, the step-by-step plan and systematizing things. That was not my strength. I was a very emotional driven person. Like if I felt passionate about something, I would go at it 100%. If I felt this inspiration, I would really be able to move forward and go quickly. But it would be like I could only see the next step and I could run towards the next step, but I wasn't great at setting those long-term plans and strategies. And that's something that if you haven't noticed is one of Naokimi's strengths, is really having that long-term vision, those long-term goals, strategies, coming up with a plan and moving forward. And it's actually through working with him that I started to understand the value of long-term planning and strategizing and goal setting. And now if you just met me for the first time, you might think, oh wow, you know, Justin is you know, he's got all these goals in his life. He's kind of, you know, organized. He's got this clear strategy of how he wants to grow his church and this and that. And you might think I was always that way, but that would be totally not true. I was not always that way, and I really feel I owe a lot to Naokimi, is that having him in my circle of the people that I spend the most time with has made a huge impact on my life. You know, one of the things that we do, that we started doing, actually under Naokimi's guidance as well, is that we start to meet with the large community pastors this past year and sharing amongst the pastors who have, you know, at least 100 people in their congregation, and sharing our best practices, our ideas, kind of encouraging one another. And I really felt like by spending more time with these people, I was able to find encouragement. I was able to find inspiration and new ideas how to move forward. And so I'm really grateful that I was able to have such amazing people in my circle. So this is a really important question to ask ourselves: is who is in our circle? Is it maybe time to look for additional circles that we can spend time in, so that we can grow to another level? Because the reality is, a lot of times we spend most of our time with the people that we are most comfortable with. If you think about, you know, who do you spend the most time with? And a lot of times the people who are most comfortable with are the people that are kind of around the same level as us, right? You know, we don't necessarily always feel good being around people who are, you know, beyond where we are in some area of life, whether that be finances or relationship or whatever, because we kind of feel, oh, we start comparing ourselves and we feel, oh man, this person's so much better than me. And we kind of like to stay with people who are kind of at that level that we're at, you know, kind of struggling the way that we're struggling, the same level that we're struggling in life, because it feels more comfortable. It's like, yeah, I can relate to these people. So it's not always the most comfortable decision to find new people, new circles to immerse yourself in. But that's really, in my experience, that's the best way to keep the momentum of growth going, is to make sure that we're constantly surrounding ourselves with other people who are committed to growth, committed to breaking through in areas of life that are important, committed to setting goals and having a vision in life, and moving forward. This is one quote that I really like from Tony Robbins, who's a motivational speaker and coach. He says, "Success leaves clues. Proximity equals power. Love your family. Choose your peers." So you know that we're really into, right, loving everyone, unconditional love, and of course that is the ideal. We want to make sure that we're embracing the world, and we see each person as our family, and we you know, family, that's an eternal, that's an unconditional bond. But our peers, it's important that we choose who our peers are, and the peers are really the people that we surround ourselves, the people that we choose to walk together in this journey of spiritual, personal development and growth, of accomplishment, and really discovering our identity, our original self on a deeper level. These people are people that we really need to choose intentionally. And that's really what this Achieve Circles group coaching is really about. It's about an opportunity to really choose a group of people that you want to invest time in, spending time and getting to know these people, and encouraging each other, and keeping each other accountable, and also spending time with maybe somebody who's a little bit ahead of you in terms of goal setting, in terms of creating a vision, in terms of creating strategies and figuring out pathways to move forward in your life. And that's really the value of having a coach, having that coach facilitate these groups, is that coach is somebody who has already applied a lot of these tools that we've learned in the Achieve program. They've had at least a year or more of practice applying that in their life and creating results through applying these principles in their life. So spending time with that coach, spending time with these peers in these Achieve circles, I really feel this is an amazing opportunity to keep things moving Again, who is this for? This is exclusively for graduates of the Achieve program. So you do need to be someone who went through the Achieve program, who went through those 12 weeks and got those tools. And we really want to make it exclusive because it's important that, again, this is your peer group. These are the people that you're going to be spending time with. You want to make sure that you're relating already on some level, being able to relate on the goals that you want to accomplish, and your identity statements, and really keeping each other accountable to creating those daily and those daily action steps. So it really allows you to have people that can speak the same language as you when it comes to achieving things in life and growing. It's also for you if you want access to continued coaching and accountability, and especially if you're committed to continuing the momentum created during the Achieve program. So again, what will it be like? It's going to be 8 weeks, weekly 70-minute group coaching sessions with a trained coach. And you're going to join a group of up to 10 other participants where you can encourage and hold each other accountable. So it says up to 10. So the group could be as little as 5 people, and it can be as much as 10. So it all depends on how many people choose what time slot and which coach that they want to go with. The groups will be kind of varying sizes, but they'll only be up to 10. And the reason why they're limited to 10 is that really allows for that personal touch for each of those participants. That you have 8 weeks, so that means the coach has opportunity to personally coach each person at least a few times throughout the 8 weeks. But also it allows for you to create a more tight-knit group that you can really get to know these people over the course of 8 weeks. So the sessions are going to look like, we'll start off with some breakouts. So check in with your peers about your progress, sharing victories, supporting each other in your challenges. So yeah, again, this is the opportunity to be sharing with people who are on this same journey with you, who are committed to moving forward in their life. And then the main portion, this will be about 45 minutes long, 50 minutes long, is the coaching. And that's where each week 2 to 3 people will receive coaching around a challenge that they are facing in their progress, in their identity statements, their goals. It might be that the coach might bring out, again, one of those tools like energy levels and coach somebody through the energy levels, or maybe somebody wants to go get a little bit clarity around their gremlins or their limiting beliefs, and the coach can kind of guide that person through those. And the great thing about group coaching is when, for example, a coach might be guiding somebody else through those energy levels, but as the coach is asking those questions and guiding that person, it's very easy for us when we're observing that to relate to that, because we're all going through these same challenges of our energy levels, of our gremlins, of our limiting beliefs, and overcoming that. So there's a lot that you're going to be able to relate to your own challenges, and to see how those tools that the coach is coaching that person, that new perspective that person who's being coached receives to the coaching, that's going to impact you as well in what you're dealing with. And you're going to see yourself getting new insights through seeing other people be coached, as well as being coached yourself. And then finally, every session will always end with a chance to set new action steps. And this is really important, because it is really through taking action that we can ensure consistent progress. Without action, then we don't get results, right? Action equals results. As long as we keep taking some kind of action, we will always be making some kind of progress. So that's going to be really important. So that's going to be about 60 minutes, and then there'll be about 10 minutes left over at the end for any kind of Q&A that you might want to ask the coach a question. So there'll be about 10 minutes left over for that, if you'd like to stay for that. So how to join a circle is to fill out the registration form that I'll put in the chat very soon, and then pay the registration fee, which is $200 for the 8 sessions. And then you in the registration form, you can choose the Achieve Circle that you'd like to join. And then you can join your first session in early January. And the start date for that is going to be the 18th. So we're going to start on January the 18th, which is a Wednesday. So that gives everybody about a week and a half well, actually, we want everyone to register this week. So the deadline for registration is going to be the 14th, which is a Saturday, so a week from now. And then that'll give us a few days to work out, make sure that we worked out any groups or troubleshooting that's needed by the 18th, which is when the groups will start. And your first session will be depending on when your group is, and I'll go into the different time slots in the next slide. So these are the different time slots that we have available. So we have on Mondays at 5 p.m. We have a group that's going to be led by Coach Luke Higuchi, and this is going to be a group that is going to be led in Japanese. So if you are a Japanese speaker, then this is going to be a really good opportunity to join this group where you'll have other native Japanese speakers that you can share with. And also Luke will be coaching in Japanese, so it'll be very, very comfortable, very easy for you to understand. And then on Thursdays at 3 p.m., that's going to be myself. And then Fridays at 7 p.m., we have Coach Tammy. And then also Coach Shauna will support Tammy in that group as well. So there's 4 different options. And if you look at the registration form, there is something called alternative times. So those alternative times are other times that our coaches mentioned that they could be available for groups if needed. For example, if none of these times work for you, choose those alternative times that work for you, choose all of them that work for you. And then based on what you chose, if there's enough people that said, none of these times work, but this Sunday at 8 p.m. slot that, Tammy mentioned, that would work for me, and at least 5 people say that would work for them, then we'll ask Tammy to open up a second group so that there'll be a time slot available for you. And if none of these time slots work, and if none of the alternative times work that are in the registration form, then please just reach out to us and we'll see what we can work out. Maybe we can have work it out so that one of the coaches can create a group that would work for you and ask other people to move around to that group. We'll try to work it out as much as possible so that no matter what time you're available, that we can open up a time slot for you. I can't promise that that's always going to be possible, but we're going to do our best to make sure that is possible. So yeah, please choose a time based off of what time works for you. And also if there's a particular coach that you'd like to work with, you can choose that coach. And these are up to 10 per group. So also if a group, it's basically going to be first come, first serve. So you want to register and choose your group as quick as possible, because that's going to determine if you're going to get into that. We're also going to ask you for a second time slot, second choice. So in case that your first choice fills up, you can choose your second choice and we'll put you into your second choice as much as possible. So again, it's going to be $200 for the 8 sessions. To register, all you have to do is fill out the registration form and pay the registration fee on the website. And that is basically it for today. As